Man, Lily was the true MVP of this episode. Let's talk about it, y'all. Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to KRSTV. This is your boy Kenny. Now remember, subscribe to my channel and click that bell so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. Also follow all the information I have in the description box as well as the comment section. Also like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. Now before I get started with this review, let me give a special shout out to the GMHC crew. If you are in the DMV area and would like to get tested for HIV, reach out to us at the GMHC crew to get a home testing kit. You can have the kit mailed to you, or you can call and make a same-day appointment with us, and you can come to our location to pick your kit up. And if you're if you're interested in getting set up for PrEP, which is HIV prevention, reach out to us at the GMHC crew for that as well. Also, if you're a fan of KRSTV and would like to become one of my Black Diamonds, join my Patreon today. Black Diamonds, because in darkness we still shine. You'll get all my YouTube content for $3 a month, as well as exclusive videos that will be specifically designed for the Black Diamonds that will not appear on YouTube. So check out my Patreon today. Also, check out my YouTube partner, BK WorldTube, which is the Black Netflix. You get shows like The Haves and the Have-Nots and RuPaul's Drag Race. So after you watch this review, check that link in my description box and comment section to check out BK WorldTube today. Now, this is my review of The Oval, Season 1, Episode 14, and the name of this episode is One Time. I am terribly sorry that these reviews are late, but The Oval's coming back in February, and I wanted to recap the rest of the episodes I missed. I was actually ill during the time that these episodes premiered, but I definitely owe it to you guys to do these reviews, and I appreciate all the love and support that you've given me. But yes, I am rewatching everything because I'm ready for Season 2, and I really do love this show. I'm a huge fan of it, and I just can't wait for Season 2 to premiere. But yeah, let's get started with this. So the episode opens up where it left off. Jean has discovered the headless body of Denise in the little bin that Kyle had. Kyle literally becomes a bully just like that and really starts intimidating her, letting her know that this woman was a Russian spy. She was trying to kill the president, and then tells her she needs to go back and pretend everything is normal, and reminds her of the NDA that she signed and all of that. And Jean is shaken up, as anybody would when you would discover something like that. But he's trying to pretty much bullying her, letting her know you need to keep this under wraps. You need to pretend that everything is fine, and you need to continue to do your job and know your place and all of that. And then tells her that there's a wine spill in the president's room, and for her to go take care of that. And then we see, Kyle proceeds to get rid of the body. And that whole thing was set up by Max, because Max held that elevator there to try to bust Kyle out. So then we see that Jean goes to the president's room. She starts cleaning. Laura, another maid, shows up. She's an older woman, and pretty much she checks on Jean. Is like, Jean, what are you doing? She's like, I'm cleaning up this wine spill. And Jean Laura's like, that will never come out. But then she can definitely tell that Jean is shooken up. But Jean tells her she's fine and just tells her just go ahead. I'll take care of everything. And that's the end of that. Then we see that, from the last episode, Sam has come to the rescue of Richard and Nancy, and they're outside right now waiting for Barry to be released. Barry is released, and, immediately Sam starts asking Barry, because a lot of stuff right now is on Barry about the whole knife and the money, and also the bullet going through his car, and then pretty much, Barry just lets it be known, I don't know nothing about the money or the knife, and he says that it was like $100,000 in my room. I had no idea where it came from. I'm like, yeah, and it's looking really interesting, because I'm thinking that damn money is Sharon. But what the fuck is Sharon doing for that kind of money? And he pretty much says that he tells Sam that Picky had mentioned to him that Kareem is a drug dealer and that Sharon is working with him, and he ends up taking them home. So then we see Sharon and Kareem at the pharmacy. We see one of the customers, Miss Davis, comes to pick up a prescription, and we see that Sharon is just making all of these, hi, how can I help you? And we come to find out Kareem is down there playing with her kitty cat while she's on the clock. And I'm like, oh, you motherfuckers are disgusting. Dang, I'm all about some freaky deaky, but there's a time and place for that. Y'all on the clock, and you're supposed to be serving these customers, and Kareem is down there playing with her kitty cat, and she's just I'm like, girl, trash. And all of a sudden it definitely looks suspicious that something weird is going on, because Kareem gets up and wipes his mouth, so we know he's pretty much was giving her some tongue play, and then just gives the woman her prescription for free. Where they do that at? If you ain't got Medicaid or Medicare, and even in those situations, you're not getting them for free. You're just getting them at very low prices. But he literally just gave her, say, hey, just take it. It's all good. And even Mrs. Davis was like, really? like something ain't right here. So you just giving away prescriptions. And then when she mentions his father, he fakes like he's on the phone and all of that. And then after she leaves, she's like, Sharon is all being all, modest now, and like, oh, we should not have done that. And he was like, come on, man, there ain't no regrets. I mean, if you're gonna have regrets, let's just go all the way. And I'm like, damn, Kareem, you really want Sharon's box, don't you? Nasty bastard. And then she's like, this is a mistake, let's just go back to work. And he's like, come on now. And she's like, look, just wait till we close the store. He's like, I'll close the store right now. And she's like, no, let's just close the store at regular hours. This fool gets on the intercom and says that we're about to be closed in 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, dang. Like, bruh, you really got it hard for Sharon. And knowing that Sharon got a man. And then Sharon, I was disgusted with Sharon though, but I'm about to get more into her in a minute. So let's keep this moving. So we see that Sam drops off Barry, Richard, and Nancy off at their house. And then we see that Sam and Richard have a conversation, and he lets Richard know that they want you back at the White House. Priscilla stood up for you in the meeting, and you can come back to work. But he's like, I really don't know if I can do that right now because of all this stuff going on with Barry. But Sam lets him know, like, look, you need to get a hold on that. And then we see Nancy and Barry are talking in front of the house, and then come that nosy ass neighbor, Miss Jody, and she's like, oh, what's going on? What happened in the house? And then like Barry's like, damn, she nosy. He's like, and they're like, damn, Nancy was like, boy, watch your mouth. And she's like, everything's fine. And pretty much, Richard pretty much he finally meets up with them, and he lets them know that, look, we can't stay in the house right now. And she's like, okay, fine, I'll talk to Priscilla and see if we can do something there. And then all of a sudden Barry's like, I gotta go to the pharmacy. And Richard's like, why? He's like, because I've been trying to call Sharon and she ain't answering my calls. I'm like, yeah, because you kind of went off on her the last time you talked to her, so she mad, but then also because she getting into some bullshit. And Richard tells him that, look, I'm going with him. I'm going with you. Because, the last time he went down there, him and Kareem had got into it. And he's like, nah, I just want to go talk to Kareem and see if he'll drop the charges and all of that. I'm like, Kareem petty as hell. Kareem ain't doing that shit. But he pretty much says that, so Richard says, I'm going to go with you. And Barry was adamant that he's going to drive. And I'm like, this shit does not look good because Barry is on one right now. Barry is highly emotional and anything is possible. And we find this out towards the end. And then it was real funny because Miss Jody and Nancy was talking and she was like, so Nancy, you want some tea? And then Nancy was like, no, but I know you do. Because she know, Jody is a nebby, nosy ass neighbor. But she's like, then Nancy's like, okay, I'll be over in a second. That was cute. So then we see that Jean is still trying to get that stain off of the rug. But she knows that it's not wine, it's actually blood. And all of a sudden, Victoria comes in and throws down on her purse and was like, bitch! Like, remember, she just came from lunch with her mother and the kids. So really, she was talking about her mom. But then she sees Jean and she pretty much makes Jean leave. Jean was about to take a glass off of the nightstand. She's like, leave it. So she pretty much leaves and everything. And then we see Victoria goes into her bathroom. I think Victoria suffers from extreme anxiety because she took a pill, and then all of a sudden she goes to her closet where all of Lily's designs are hanging up, and she pretty much like, this bitch sucks, and she starts tearing everything down. Was like, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. I'm like, damn. And then she discovers the glass on the nightstand with a woman's lipstick on the rim, so she knows that Hunter had Denise up in their room. So she's hot. So then we see that Hunter, the president, summons Donald. And Donald right now is definitely high-strung because you saw the last episode, Lily done busting him out and told him his tea about being a closet queen and about him having a little thing with Kyle. So at first he just dismisses his assistant. Was like, I don't want to talk to anybody right now. But he lets him know that the president needs to see you. And him being chief of staff, he jumps at it. But before he could get there, Victoria decides to storm into the Oval. And then her and Hunter go back and forth. And of course, Victoria's mad as hell. And Hunter's like, I do not need your bullshit right now, Victoria. And she's like, you had her in my bed. And then she says that my mother was here and all of her wicked glory. And were you giving this bitch insider trading secrets? And he's like, get the hell out of here now. And she's like, look, you need to calm down. Someone in here is leaking everything to my parents. And we could lose everything. And I have given up too much to lose anything. And he was like, and I haven't given up everything? He's like, what we had was a one-time fling. I got you pregnant, and your parents forced me to get married. So we pretty much see that both of them have lost their lives in this marriage. This is probably like one of the worst loveless marriages that ever existed. And it's a complete sham. Which explains why they got so many problems in their life. And he pretty much says that I don't want this life, and I damn sure don't want you. And pretty much she lets him know, like, look, if you don't stop seeing her, and he's like, you ain't got to worry about that. You won't see her again, and neither will I. And she's startled, like, what? And he was like, does that make you happy? But she's kind of confused, like, what do you mean by that? Like, what you trying to say? Because probably in Hunter's mind, he thinking that Victoria has something with her being killed because, Victoria went all the way down to her boutique and beat the shit out of Denise. We ain't forget about that. She mollywopped her ass. And then finally Donald shows up. Victoria leaves. And he tells Donald about the whole situation, that Denise is dead. She was in my room. I went to the bathroom and I came back and she was dead. And that her body and her head was decapitated. And he pretty much said that, so does anybody know about it? And he said that, well, yeah, Kyle took care of it. And then Donald calls Kyle to find out what's going on, and he tells him, "I want to see you immediately." He's like, "Okay, I'm away from the Oval, but I've handled some things." And he says, "So is everything taken care of?" And he's like, "Yes, everything's taken care of." And he's like, "Okay, well, I need to see you immediately." So we see that Kyle's on his way back, and Donald reassures Hunter that, look, Kyle got it handled. He's a professional. He's going to take care of it. Now, this scene had me rolling because Lily is literally waiting to see Victoria. She's sitting there waiting, and then you see Jason, with his old psychotic ass, streaking yet again, butt ball naked, creeping around the corner. Lily sees this, and he runs. She's like, Lily done had enough. So Lily storms into his room, and he's like, "What are you doing? Get out!" And she's like, "Is there something you want to show me?" And she's like, "Get out! I'm naked." She's like, "Look, I'm a designer. I work around naked people all the time. So is there something you want to show me?" And he's like, "Get out of here! Are you crazy?" And she's like, "Yes, as crazy as you are." And then she lets him know, "You did this crap before, and I ignored it. You need to keep that little thing in your pants, boy." I screamed. I was like, Lily is just over all the bullshit. And he pretty much tells her, "Get out. I can have you fired." She's like, "Oh, please. I'm about to do that myself anyway, so it don't even matter." But then she tells him, "Your butt looks cute, but if that little thing is all you have to offer, that explains why you're such a pervert. Bye-bye." I was cracking up. I was like, Lily let Jason have it. And Jason was just mad. So it's like he likes the streaking, but doesn't like to be checked for it. Because Lily was not here for it. And I was like, okay. Like, damn, Jason. Somebody done told you about your damn self with your little nasty ass. And then we see that finally Lily meets up with Victoria, and they go back and forth, and they were just throwing jabs at each other. Victoria talks about her dresses are low, cheap, gutter, and trashy. And she says, and then Lily was like, "You don't like the colors?" She's like, "No, I'm not even talking about the clothes. I'm talking about the designer." I'm like, "Oh, damn, Victoria. You just going in on the girl." And she was like, "You know what? Okay." And then, like, Victoria's like, "Oh, so that's what it is? You just let people walk all over you?" And then, like, Lily's like, "I'm sorry." And she's like, "What are you sorry for?" She's like, "I'm sorry that you're not happy. It's a matter of, taste." I was like, oh, like, Lily is not here for the bullshit of anybody. And she's just over it. And then, like, Victoria's like, "Wow, you're kind of a bitch, aren't you?" And Lily was like, "I can be. So tell me, Victoria, what's up?" I was like, oh shit. Lily done brought the Watts into the White House, and anybody could get it right now. And as I said, Lily was the MVP of this episode. And she pretty much asked Victoria, "So why me? Why did you hire me to be your designer?" And she says, "Well, the reason is because your husband is key to helping me manage mine." She's like, "Nah, it's something else." And she's like, "So what is it then?" She's like, "I don't know, but clearly what I'm getting from you is that you're an insecure woman who likes to bully and put people down because you can't live in your truth." And then all of a sudden that damn Victoria started getting hostile as shit. I'm like, yeah, bitch, Lily got your number, honey. And then she starts telling her that her clothes are knockoffs. And she pretty much says that, "First of all, honey, I have a wonderful career. I don't need you to wear my clothes. I don't need this place or this bullshit." So she's about to leave, and then all of a sudden that damn Victoria pulled the wild card. "So what is it like being married to a gay man?" Like, ooh. And then she's like, yeah, your clothes are knockoffs of real designers. And then, like, Lily came back, was like, yeah, the same designers that didn't want to dress you. And she's like, yeah, that's because they couldn't make clothes for a real black woman. She's like, oh no, that's not it. See, clothes are worn from the inside out. And they feel that your look would cheapen their designs because your insides are kind of, wicked. I was like, oh, yes, Lily, get her ass. And then before she left, she's like, oh yeah, and you can and get that boy yours some therapy because serial killers start off as perverts. And trust and believe it, y'all watch the rest of this season, Lily's words came to life for real. So I was like, damn. So then when she's leaving out, Lily runs into Donald and she's like, you know what? I don't need this shit. And that bitch, I was like, and she's and pretty much she's like, calm down. She's like, don't touch me, Donald. Get the hell away from me. So then Donald goes up in there to meet Victoria, and Victoria's like, oh, so am I the bitch she's talking about? And he's like, oh, no. So we see that Victoria bullies the crap out of Donald because Donald is trying to get into the room to kind of, fix things or try to clear things up so that Victoria won't find out. But she won't even let him in the room. And then all of a sudden, Victoria starts going in on Donald's like, so what's going on with your wife? Is it sodomy? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, you know exactly what I mean. And she says that, did you know my mother was here? And he's like, no, I had no idea. And he's like, but you're the chief of staff. You're supposed to know these things. And he said that, somebody in here is leaking information to her. We need to find out who that link is and have it plugged. And he's like, but I need to go to the bedroom. She's like, oh, is that where you want to do the plugging? In the bedroom? And I was like, yo, Victoria, you are so mean as hell. And Donald is trying to say, I need to get, and she's like, no, the room is being cleaned. Now leave. And then you could just tell Donald hates her ass. But he works for her family, so he kind of has to play along. So we see that Kyle and Max have a run-in because finally Kyle has come back from disposing of Denise's body and setting up a story in regards to that. Him and Max go back and forth. He even tells Max, like, oh yeah, that stunt you pulled with the elevator, I should whoop your ass for that. And he was like, I like to see you do that. So they start going back and forth, but then Sam shows up and he tells Kyle to knock it off, and he gives Max a break. And then Sam asks Kyle, you need to gloat somewhere else. And, I know we can't put this in the documents, but what happened in that bedroom? And he says, I can't say. He's like, what you mean you can't say? He's like, well, the president. He's like, don't give me that bullshit. You need to watch your step. Because, Sam is the head of security. So he's Kyle's boss. You know what I'm saying? So, but that damn Kyle is one evil motherfucker. So then we see back at the pharmacy, we see Kareem and Sharon. The store's now closed, and she was like, she said that that she's gonna go stay at her sister's house. He's like, no, you can come stay with me. And she's like, I don't think it's a good idea. He's like, why? And then she tells him, no one has ever made love to me the way you do. And she even tells him that I think about you when and she tells him that she thinks about him while she's having sex with Barry. I'm like, oh, Sharon, you a straight up thought. I was like, yo, that is so messed up. So the whole time Barry thinking you into him, you thinking about fucking Kareem. Which is probably the reason why you don't want to leave the pharmacy, because you still thirsting off of that Kareem meat. Tramp. And then next they start getting it in, and he puts her on the counter and he starts banging her out. I'm like, oh, Sharon, you a straight up thought for that shit. Real talk. So Donald goes back to Hunter and lets him know that Victoria wouldn't let him in the room. Kyle finally shows up because Donald called him, and Kyle was finally back. And pretty much, Hunter's asking questions, and he's like, and pretty much Kyle is playing like, "What are you talking about, sir?" And Hunter's getting mad because he's like, he won't answer his questions. But then Donald is like, "Everything's taken care of, sir. Kyle has it all handled. And he's like, so Hunter's like, "So you mean none of this will come back on me?" And he's like, "Yeah, you can just check the local news." So he set up a whole story around around Denise and everything. So you really see that Donald and Kyle are like an evil pair. And then afterwards, they both leave, and Donald tells Kyle to meet him in his office. So then we see Barry and Richard. Barry is definitely still shooken up because I know I roasted the hell out of Barry, but I understand why Barry's doing what he's doing. He lost his daughter, and if you lose your child, you're not going to be in your right state of mind. And his father is trying to calm him down because he's speeding, and you can just tell that he's just emotionally unstable. And he's trying to tell him that, look, this is a lot. You need to talk to someone. He suggested he talk to their pastor. And all of a sudden, they pull up to the pharmacy. Barry sees Kareem screwing Sharon on that counter like a $2 hoe. Richard doesn't see it, but then all of a sudden, shout out to Von Hebron. He played the hell out of this scene. All of a sudden, his adrenaline started running, and his whole face changed. He turned back on that damn car, put his foot to the ignition, and drove right through that damn pharmacy. I was like, oh shit, it's about to be crazy now. I'm like, Barry right now, because he has lost his daughter, is just making all type of irrational decisions. He done got so much shit on him to the point where, like, damn, you're just putting yourself into a deeper hole. But he's not going to rest until he get his daughter back. And I hate to say it, but Nancy, you kind of created this situation. So that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, get down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So until next time, everybody, take care.